Formula One is the most expensive sport on the planet. Billions of dollars are spent every year to build the fastest cars and the most luxurious racetracks. We build temples of speed in the desert, in the cities, and in the forests. But what happens when the money runs out? What happens when the circus leaves town and never comes back? The truth is shocking. All over the world, legendary circuits are rotting away. From $100 million projects that were abandoned after just 5 years, they were left to nature. Today, we are exploring the graveyards of motorsport. These are the 5 abandoned tracks that Formula One wants you to forget. We start with a modern tragedy, the Valencia street circuit. In 2008, this was supposed to be the jewel of Europe. It was designed to rival Monaco. It had a bridge that cars jumped over, a marina for yachts, and it cost the Spanish taxpayers over 100 million euros to build. It hosted legends like Schumacher and Alonso, but the corruption behind the project was massive. Just 5 years after opening, the money vanished. The race was canceled. Today, if you visit Valencia, you won't find supercars. You will find a wasteland. The tunnels are flooded with stagnant water. The famous bridge has been stripped of its electronics by thieves. It is a post-apocalyptic ruin in the middle of a modern city, proving that in F1, cash is king, but bankruptcy is just around the corner. If Valencia is a story of money, Hockenheim is a story of heartbreak. For decades, the German Grand Prix was famous for one thing: the forest run. The cars would blast at 200 miles per hour through deep, dark woods, screaming through the trees before returning to the stadium section. It was terrifying and beautiful. But in 2002, the FIA decided the track was too long. They ordered the forest section to be cut off. But they didn't just abandon it, they destroyed it. They ripped up the asphalt and planted trees over it to prevent anyone from ever racing there again. Today, if you walk into those woods, you can still find chunks of the old curbs hidden under the moss. It is the grave of the old V12 era, buried under the roots of the new forest. Sometimes, a track dies before it even takes its first breath. This is the strange story of the Vietnam Grand Prix. In 2019, F1 announced a massive deal to race in Hanoi. They built a spectacular street circuit, they finished the pit building, they painted the grid slots. Everything was ready for the 2020 debut. Then, COVID hit. The race was delayed. But then, the politician responsible for the race was arrested for corruption involving millions of dollars. The contract was shredded. The circuit sits there today, fully built, completely silent. The grandstands were dismantled before a single fan ever sat in them. It is a ghost track that never saw a ghost. Now we travel to the Temple of Speed, Monza. But we are not looking at the modern track. We are looking at the monster hiding in the trees next to it. The high-speed oval. Built in the 1950s, these concrete curves are banked at a terrifying 38 degrees. It was designed to make cars go faster than aircraft, but the physics were brutal. The suspension of the cars would collapse under the pressure. It was deemed too dangerous for Formula One in 1961 after a tragic accident killed Wolfgang von Trips and 15 spectators. Today, the concrete beast is still standing. It is cracked, covered in moss, and fenced off like a dangerous animal. It stands as a monument to a time when safety was just an afterthought. Finally, we end in the fields of France at Rome-Guil. This place is unique because it wasn't destroyed and it wasn't redeveloped. It was simply left. The pit buildings from the 1960s still stand by the side of a public road. The advertisements for old fuel and oil brands are still painted on the walls, fading a little more every year. It feels like the race directors just went out for lunch 50 years ago and never came back. These abandoned tracks are more than just old asphalt. They are scars on the landscape. They remind us that motorsport is fragile. We spend billions to build these empires of speed, but without the noise, without the fans, and without the money, nature always wins in the end.